So let's talk about this article. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to make this clear. Warner Media's Annie Sernoff. Warner Media's studio CEO Annie Sernoff. Annie Sernoff. Wait. Let's just go to Google and see who the actual Warner Media CEO is. Because I'm pretty sure it's Jason, not Annie Sernoff. Now, let's just see who the CEO actually is. Oh, wait. Jason Keller. Interesting. Okay. Now, the person who's really in charge of this whole SnyderVerse being restored is Jason, who is the CEO of Warner Media. Now, the person who's in charge of absolutely everything and who has staple control is John. Now, let's have a look of Warner Bros. I think this Variety article is getting things confused again, like it got confused in 2017. Oh wait, Annie Sernoff is actually the Warner Bros. CEO. Okay, so we've got an actual publication, a big trade. The headline is wrong. Warner Bros. Studio CEO. Okay, typo. Brent. Typo. I mean, come on. That's not even factually correct. Right, let's get back to the rest of the video, Warstu.
I hope you appreciated the intro of me explaining who Annie Sernoff is and the fact she's actually the Warner Bros. CEO, which is still a very high position, and she's not in charge of HBO Max or Warner Media or is a stable owner of the whole thing. So this is not a video I intended to make and wanted to make, but I felt like a lot of people don't understand what this article is actually saying. It's not particularly saying an awful lot, and let's not forget that in 2019, Variety said, Warner Brothers is not planning to release the Snyder... Well, Warner Bros. Never released the Snyder Cut. It was Warner Media, HBO Max original. It was not a Warner Bros. Movie. Why? Did they promote it? No. Did a theatrical release and the cinemas were open? No. In fact, this Justice League Snyder Cut, except for the fact that I guess you could say Warner Bros. Have the licensing and own the characters, but then again, AT&T owns everything. That is the case. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the DCEU drama, but realistically, there is nothing to worry about. So, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu, and this is where the video idea came from, because like I said, I didn't want to do this video, but it's been heavily requested. Also, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. So as I said at the start, there's nothing to worry about. So the hierarchy is CEO John Stankey. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Stankey. That's how it's wrote in English. It says Stankey. Then you have the Warner Media CEO Jason Keller underneath him, okay? And he's in charge of HBO Max and Warner Brothers, because underneath this, you have Warner Media Studios Network and CEO, and then you have HBO Max, then you have Warner Bros. So Annie Sernoff's boss is Jason. So although Annie Sernoff is important, she's not Jason. Jason's in charge of her. Then underneath that, you have the Pictures Group, then you have Toby Emmerich, who is the chairman, then you have Warner Bros. Pictures, you have the president there, Ryan, and then you have the DC Films president, good old Walter Hamada, and that is where the confusion's coming from here. So in a nutshell, Jason is in charge of everyone else. So let's go over this fluff article or fluff piece, whatever you want to describe it as, because the timing is really weird. Right. When did you decide to release the Snyder Cut? We wanted to give Zack the... Okay, as far as I'm aware, as far as I've been told behind the scenes, it was actually Jason that did all the negotiations, and Jason sorted it out, and it was actually coming from Jason, not coming from anyone to do with Warner Bros, because Warner Bros never wanted this. They disassociated themselves completely away from this. Completely. So the Snyder Cut was released by HBO Max as an HBO Max original, and it was part of Warner Media. So I don't really understand why people are saying, oh, right, there's no plans. There's no plans for other SnyderVerse movies. It's like, but she's got nothing to do with it. Realistically, I mean, yes, she has kind of, but not really. She wasn't the forerunner behind the Snyder Cut. Jason is a fan of Snyder, and he wants Zack Snyder's vision to come true. Am I saying it's 1000% coming? No. But from information I've been told behind the scenes, that I'm not going to divulge in full depth yet, but I would say that I'm pretty confident Justice League 2 and 3 is coming based on information I've been told. Now this line here, will there be more movies of director's cut? Will we see a David Ayer Suicide Squad cut? We won't be developing the David Ayer cut. Now, from what I understand from trusted sources that haven't really got anything wrong, it's pretty much good to go. So it's very interesting that this fluff piece comes out, because I see it as a big old fluff piece, because I read it and I was like, okay, so where's people's problems here? That there's nothing in this article to suggest to me that release the Snyder Cut, the SnyderVerse, just Justice League 2 and 3 won't be coming. Now, what's interesting to me and what's apparent to me is the fact that the Justice League Snyder Cut was one of the biggest releases ever. It's been trending and is still trending in this current day, and it's got more traffic than Wonder Woman 1984 put together. Where is the stats? Where's the analytics? Where is the data? Where is the number? Where is the numbers? Where's the numbers for new subscriptions? How many people viewed it? How many people viewed it internationally? I had people texting me and messaging me, people I've not spoke to in a good few months, asking me to explain parts of the Justice League movie to them, because I get it. People that aren't into this kind of stuff and don't know comic book logic and aren't really into this kind of stuff don't understand stuff, so I had to explain stuff to a few people. So I've had people contact me that haven't contacted me for a while, and what is interesting is this article, because I don't really understand where it's coming from. And then what's more interesting is when this piece comes out saying, oh, we've got no interest for release the Aya cut, David Ayer responds with why, crying, like actual crying face, not laughing crying face. So for me, this whole article is one big fluff piece. Now, that's my personal opinion, allegedly. So it's interesting. You talked about breaking down silos in the company. What does this mean for DC? Creators want to have franchises that are larger than life, but oftentimes you start working with a company and that a company has discrete divisions. So you become a film creator, you become a television creator, and never twine a shelf meet. My role is to pull people together towards a vision that can make whole more than the sum of parts. One of the key aspects is that having a long-term range plan. These movies and TV series can make 2+ years to make. So if you're not planning out and bringing other people into the plan, the further the silos is having the plan, then it's having a strategy where all the various businesses work in harmony to create the plan. It seems logical, but it's very rarely done. Well, one of the things I said to the group early was never let your fans see your org chart. Boy, could the fans see our org chart in 2019. So essentially what she's trying to say is that change is coming. This whole fluff piece says change is coming. Look at the DC slate. There seems to be an emphasis on creating opportunities and diversity, creators and characters. You've got a Latino superhero movie with Blue Beetle. I mean, that Blue Beetle movie is like a meme. It's been coming out for 5 years. Sasha becoming the first Latino actress to portray Supergirl, and then it goes on, and her response is, it's super important to me. It's in line with what we want to do. We want to branch out and let creators interpret parts of the universe in its unique and special way. Interesting. And then it talks about the Superman bit, and then it says it's incredibly exciting. I cannot wait to see what they come up with. Andy Muschietti on the Flash movie, Paddy, which is interesting because the Paddy Jenkins Wonder Woman 2 movie didn't even do it well. Matt Reeves just finished shooting Batman against the odds of COVID. Not really. We're so excited to see the movie and have people see it because Matt's take on Batman is different than other takes. Even familiar characters have lots of possibilities. So she's essentially talking about the Flash movie creating the multiverse, but this is where it contradicts itself, because if you're going to have the multiverse, the Matt Reeves Batman is on Earth too. If the Snyderverse does exist in HBO Max and on HBO Max, that would be like the Snyderverse in its own continuity, in its own timeline, that would have nothing to do with anything else. But it's very strange and ambiguous because they want to branch away from the old DC. It's essentially old DC versus new DC, which is weird because Zack Snyder casted Gal Gadot, casted Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill is still Superman. As far as we know, there are still plans for Henry Cavill Superman, and there's people inside DC that really want that. Jason Momoa, Aquaman 2, although a lot of you guys online say Aquaman. Now, I don't get this discussion in the comments. Apparently, I say Aquaman wrong because it's Aqua. No, it's not Aqua, it's Aquaman. English language, English, not American English, English. It's Aquaman, and so on. Ezra Miller, The Flash, also casted by Zack Snyder. He's got his own movie, and so on. Obviously, the only one that hasn't got their own solo movie is Cyborg. Superman's already has it. So, in my opinion, if they are going to breach out, they need to essentially reboot all the characters, cast complete new characters, because you're always going to be in the shadow of the Snyder Cut. Now, if Warner Bros. Want the 2017 Joss Whedon cut to be their movie, that's cool, because the Snyder Cut is not their movie. It's HBO Max original. So, a lot of people are getting reactionary, and Warner Brothers is a very reactional company. They react very fast, except for listening to the fans. They try to say they listen to the fans. Well, clearly not. Clearly not. Now, it's interesting, this is. What are your plans going forward for DC? We've got an incredible group of creators, television series creators, Max series creators, feature film creators. We are basically broadening the base of talent that we want to work with within DC, yet you're trying to saturate Zack Snyder, at least from the Warner Bros. Side, because we're so excited about the potential to build out the DC multiverse. Okay, if anyone watched this movie, Zack Snyder literally introduced the multiverse in this movie, but it's a Cody Zack. He literally introduced the multiverse. Steppenwolf said in order for Steppenwolf to be respected by his uncle, he had to destroy 50,000 planets. If That's like the multiverse was introduced, so it's already been introduced. It's one of the reasons why I was hired almost 2 years ago. The before and after, it was very silo organized with no connectivity between the businesses. DC was being developed, but in a kind of way in which each division, my mantra coming in was to make it bigger and broader. We really want to surprise and delight the fans with more connective tissue across the various mediums and platforms. I'm talking movies, HBO Max television, and our games division. So you're essentially just wanting to bring everything together with the multiverse, but that's already been done because in the Flash crossover last season, we seen Ezra Miller crossover with the Grant Gustin Flash. We also see Michael Keaton Batman, and we've seen a bunch of other stuff that's already, so it's already connected in a roundabout way. So I'm not saying what Annie Sernoff says is wrong, but I'm going off my information, and what I know is the Snyderverse will continue regardless to what is said in this fluff piece. It really is. Sernoff believes that the future of DC is more than just movies. She's excited about a multi-platform future, one that sees a Batman, Superman, The Flash, and other Justice League members popping up on streaming service shows. What, you mean like Ben Affleck getting his own show and Henry Cavill getting his own show and other stuff, which is interesting. But it's bad that it kind of says here, it sounds to me like they're trying to copy Marvel, and Zack told them that no, that would not work. It's a vision that echoes what Marvel has been doing with the Avengers characters, taking superheroes like Vision and the Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye and Loki, who have appeared only in movies, and giving them streaming shows of their own. The Warner Media Studios chief is also excited. Okay, Jason's in charge of you, but I don't get why you keep bringing that up. So my point is, guys, that what she says, it's somewhat true. I'm not going to discredit the whole article because the whole article is true to what she knows and what she believes. But I've got to stand by the information, what I've been told by credible people that have been right about so many things. I've been told information for so many things that have been right. And like I said, guys, if I'm wrong, I will always address it in a video, but I will not make an independent video saying, guys, I was wrong. As far as I'm aware, Annie Sernoff is true. They will be doing, the multiverse is going to open the multiverse, essentially. That's why it's a Flash movie. Don't get me wrong. It's not Flashpoint. It's not the storyline focused on Barry Allen's mother being killed and then Barry running back in time and creating this parallel universe where his mother's alive and ultimately he's got to let Eobard Thawne kill his mother in order to set the universe back to original timeline. But of course, it will never be original timeline. So somehow this Flash movie is going to have to explode the multiverse, so to speak. But we already know that because the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, which I'm very much looking forward to, is on Earth 2. Now, if they were going to reboot and change everything, why wouldn't Robert Pattinson's Gotham be based on Earth 1? All the signs are already there, guys. I'm not saying what Annie Sernoff says is wrong. She is a very important, integral part to DC films. And if you are a DC fan, I don't think you should get on this kind of bandwagon of hating on people at Warner Media, people at Warner Bros. And stuff. But people want what they want. And it just seems to me that Warner Bros. And Warner Media and HBO Max, it seems like there's internal discussions and internal fights going on with each other. But ultimately, what I'm saying is the Snyderverse is very much alive. It very much is. And it doesn't really matter how many times you watch said movie. I'm pretty sure when they look at all these numbers, it will be one IP, one watch. That is kind of a stagnant way. You can't have one IP, 50, 100 watches, can you know? So it's interesting. I know this movie did very well. It did very well in England alone. I know that for a fact. So I'd love to see the numbers. Just interesting that this fluff piece comes out from Variety. As far as I know, she's not the CEO of Warner Media. She's in charge of Warner Bros. But don't get me wrong. It seems like she does have ties to Warner Media. I mean, technically, she's like in charge of Warner Media networks and studios and stuff, but she isn't the overall boss of Warner Media. Jason Keller is in charge of her. And Jason Keller, as far as we understand here on the channel and people we talk to, Jason's a fan of Zack Snyder's work and he wants it to continue. They want content for HBO Max. And what better way to get content than give the fans what they want? Even Marvel fanboys are wanting Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and Zack Snyder's Justice League 3. And Zack's been teasing for the longest time possible that Justice League 2 is possible. Justice League 3 is possible. There's been hints about the Batfleck series. All the signs are there, regardless to what this fluff piece says. Regardless to if you like or don't like the way the DC is going with the Flash movie and stuff, there's no point boycotting the next DC movie. That's not going to make any difference. There's going to be lots of different versions and lots of different visions. Just get behind them all. And then you have to question this. If this Justice League 1, Zack Snyder Justice League, was going to be the last movie ever from Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder, why did they not let Zack Snyder show the John Stewart Green Lantern scene that he filmed in his backyard at his house? Why did Warner Bros. Not allow it? I know it's not a Warner Bros. Movie, but I mean, it still has to go through Warner Bros. Warner Media. It's kind of the same thing. But if this is a one-off, why didn't they let the John Stewart Green Lantern scene appear in this movie? If this is a one and done, Cody Zack, is it because it's going to interfere with the HBO Max series? No, because generally speaking, people know there's a multiverse, there's different variations, different characters. It's kind of standard in comic book movies and comic book TV shows and animated shows, and everyone that reads comics knows this. So, no, just on the simple fact that they didn't let Green Lantern appear in this movie tells me there is something more coming. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Subscribe, follow me over there. The same thing with Twitter. Follow me over there at WarstuG on Twitter. And I'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.